Now, YEET main event Jey Uso, along with Charlotte Flair, is going to WrestleMania 41. Cody Rhodes beat the L out of his former best friend, climbed the ladder, and retained the undisputed WWE Championship, and DIY retained the Tag Team Championship from Motor City Machine Guns thanks to interference from the Street Profits. Entering the 2025 Royal Rumble event, not only did we think we were going to have a great tag team match for the tag team titles, not only did we think we were going to have a memorable ladder match for the undisputed WWE Championship, but we thought the two Royal Rumble matches could be two of the most unpredictable Royal Rumble matches in history in Indianapolis, Indiana, the biggest Royal Rumble in WWE history with over 70,000 fans in attendance. Not only that, but the 2025 Royal Rumble was the most attended non WrestleMania event in professional wrestling history in the United States, and WWE did not disappoint the 70,000 Lucas Oil Stadium fans in the house on Saturday night. I am still buzzing as I am recording this on an early Sunday morning from just one of the best overall WWE Royal Rumble POEs. Let's start with the Women's Royal Rumble, which of course featured Io Sky and Liv Morgan kicking things off. And before I dive into the match itself, let me just say, it is incredible the women's roster and the men's, and we'll get into the men's in a little bit, but the women's roster here that I'll talk with specifically that WWE has built. Because if you remember the first ever Women's Royal Rumble in 2018, half the field, if not more than half the field, was filled with legends because WWE cannot get a full 30 women out of their current roster to participate in said match. Here in 2025, really only Trish Stratus, who to me oddly came back as a babyface, that her thank you Trish heel gimmick that she had in her feud with Becky Lynch in 2023. I never interacted with Zoe Stark, which I thought could have been really cool. Um, but with that being said, only Trish Stratus was the only real, legend slash surprise in either the women's or the men's Royal Rumble matches. Surprises were guys from TNA or guys from NXT, and they were really, on the women's side, they had more NXT entrants, obviously, which I was okay with. You got to see Roxanne Perez, who, if you guys have noticed this in the Triple H era, and I thought I alluded to this last Thursday when I gave my Royal Rumble predictions. I apologize if I did not. But in the Triple H era, those that are in the final four or the final three, or however you want to quantify it, in the WWE Royal Rumble matches have gone on to have a huge year. I think big things are in store for Roxanne Perez this year, as she was the runner up in this year's Women's Royal Rumble to the Queen, who entered in at number 27. But the start of the match, we saw, I think, a rare feat where it was, the first 8 or 9 superstars in the ring not get eliminated. It was certainly different than the men's Rumble. I appreciated that aspect from it. I thought Chelsea Green, being the inaugural United States champion, is getting so over with the crowd, even when she was in there with the likes of Bianca Belair and Naomi and Io Sky. Um, and some of these other women, excuse me, in the match. Chelsea Green was the one getting cheered. And so, you had some NXT girls come out again, the likes of Roxanne Perez, who I thought made an incredible impact. Julia, the current NXT Woman Champion. You had Lash Legend, who's been on the main roster a little bit there, in NXT, competing for the tag titles. You had Jordan Grace from NXT, and I liked how they, put in Zelina Vega and Jordan Grace's history in TNA, along with Jordan Grace and Naomi's history in TNA. I thought that was really cool. I thought one of the things that both Rumbles were missing this year a little bit was, obviously Naomi did not do her spot where she defied gravity. In the men's Rumble, I was kind of surprised the New Day were not in the match so Kofi Kingston could do his Royal Rumble spot. That did not happen. And again, maybe Kofi's a heel now, they would have booed it, whatever, I get it. There was no real incredible save spot, which maybe it was designed for that way. This Rumble was more of the in-ring action of things. I thought Liv Morgan really proved something when she was on her own the majority of the match without Raquel Rodriguez until obviously she came in. There was a lot of beef in the women's rumble until Nia Jax came in at number 29 and cleared out, what, eight or nine women. Again, I thought that was really designed that way. I thought they did a good job for a little bit showcasing Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Sonya Deville, PFC, and their tag team. Lyra Valkyria, I was a little bit surprised at the fact that she was the first eliminated in the Women's Rumble, but again, I think it gives some validation there to Chelsea Green. She is superior. She is the Women's United States Champion. Lyra is the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Obviously, Lyra was thrown out by Ivy Nile, who I thought showed her incredible strength, in the limited time she had. So overall, I thought it was a really good Rumble. Nikki Bella returning at number 30. I don't mind it at all. Um, I did think that Becky Lynch was going to return, if you recall, in my predictions. I thought Becky Lynch would come out. I thought she would win the Women's Royal Rumble. She did not return at all. And so when she did not return, it sort of made it a little bit predictable that Charlotte Flair was going to go on and win this match. And the Queen is now back. And from everything I've seen, from everything I've heard about Charlotte, it looks like to me she is returning as a heel. Though I do think WWE is planning for Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton, which I don't think yet is a WrestleMania 41 main event caliber match. I don't know if they're gonna turn Tiffany Stratton face or if I'll tell you right now, if the plan is to do Charlotte Flair as a face versus Tiffany Stratton as a heel, it will not work because the crowd is already booing the Queen and they are already cheering Tiffy time. The other return that I absolutely loved, and I was kind of shocked that she came back with her doll. Obviously, you can see on her jacket was friend forever with the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Maybe she does get involved with the Wyatt Six. I thought it was awesome how Michael Cole and Wade Barrett and Pat McAfee called out the rumors out there that Little Miss Bliss would not return to WWE after some contract negotiations stalled out. Sometimes I wonder if WWE just leaks things to the media because they know we online, we all eat up what the dirt sheets have to say about what's going on in the professional wrestling business, and this new era gets a kick out of it. But Alexa Bliss came out to possibly the biggest pop of the night outside of the men's Royal Rumble match. I think a lot of people were happy to see Alexa Bliss. She was eventually eliminated by Liv Morgan. I could see those two going into a feud. I can also see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez eventually taking the Women's Tag Team Championships away from Naomi and Bianca Belair. Jade Cargill was not involved in this match. We still need to figure out who attacked Jade Cargill. I know a lot of people think it's Naomi. I still think it's going to end up being Bianca Belair. Um, but at the end of the day, now this creates real questions, in my opinion, for if Charlotte Flair decides to indeed take Tiffany Stratton and challenge her for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania 41. Who challenges Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship? Again, there's a lot of speculation out there. It could be Bianca Belair. I think if they go that route, it could be Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. in a triple threat match again. I think Bianca and Jade Cargill will go one on one. The interesting thing here is if WWE chooses to reverse course, right? If Charlotte Flair does indeed decide to go to Monday nights and challenge Rhea Ripley for the third time at WrestleMania, WrestleMania 36, WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 41, I think now they would get the chance to main event even over Jey Uso and Gunther, and maybe you get Tiffany, Nia, and Candice LeRae in a triple threat match for the women's championship over on the Blue brand. Then let's get to the tag team title match, which featured DIY against the Motor City Machine Guns. DIY did a great, fantastic job selling the first fall of this match, which was really the theme of the match, was DIY using their heel tactics to their advantage. Really wrestling, and I called this at one point in the Rumble, really wrestling a perfect heel tag team wrestling match. Where obviously, Johnny Gargano went to tag in Ciampa. Ciampa sort of fell off the apron just in time, so he didn't make the tag. Gargano then would act like Ciampa was the weaker man when he was not. Ciampa would end up hitting a big knee on Alex Shelley to get the first fall. Eventually, DIY would its, or excuse me, the Motor City Machine Guns would hit Skull and Bones on DIY to tie it up 1-1. This was a very fast paced tag team match for the tag team titles. And at the end of the day, when it looked like DIY was down and out, when it looked like the Motor City Machine Guns were going to get another Skull and Bones to win back the Undisputed Tag Team Championships, it was not Los Garzos, it was not Pretty Deadly who caused interference. Instead, it was the Street Profits, who, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about the fact that they were attacked, but they did not attack DIY. Instead, they attacked the Motor City Machine Guns and then allowed DIY to retain the tag team titles with a meet in the middle as the referee was distracted. Montez Ford came up on the apron with a hoodie, which allowed Dawkins to then hit Sabin in the back with a crutch. But then, after the match, after we all thought DIY was working with the Street Profits and we had a Street Profits heel turn, Angelo Dawkins took that crutch and struck Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa in the back with it. And Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on commentary, I thought did a great job at selling it, basically saying that DIY attacked the Street Profits, yes, which is why the Street Profits wanted DIY to retain the Undisputed Tag Team Championships and not the Motor City Machine Guns because they want to take the straps from DIY. I thought that was a logical explanation, and now we get a tweener Street Profits, a heel DIY, a face Motor City Machine Guns. That sounds like to me a banger triple threat WWE Tag Team title match at WrestleMania 41. They could even throw in Los Gardos and Pretty Deadly. Maybe you make it a gauntlet 5-team match for the tag team titles. I think that would be really fun to see. At least WWE is building up the tag team division more on the blue brand than they are the red brand. Okay, now let's get to the ladder match, which I'll be honest with you, I don't have time to recall all the spots. One of the things that I do love about this match is that they did not use tables, which the crowd was obviously calling for. They did not use steel chairs. They really didn't use any other weapons besides a ladder, which is what the ladder match was intended, right? This is not TLC. This is not Extreme Rules. This is a ladder match. And so the fact that those guys, besides Kevin Owens throwing a beer in the face of Cody Rhodes, um, from the crowd, which I thought was a nice touch, this was more of a brutal match than a wire match. And they made it very clear, which, by the way, that video package they aired right before the match and they aired it on SmackDown the night before, Even If It Kills Me by Papa Roach. That's one of the most badass hype video packages I've seen in a while from WWE. Kudos to them, and it really brought the backstory, which everybody knows by now. Kevin Owens losing at Passion Berlin, Kevin Owens getting upset at the fact that Cody Rhodes teamed with his arch rival Roman Reigns at Bad Blood. Kevin Owens attacks him in the parking lot. Then Kevin Owens takes out Cody Rhodes' best friend Randy Orton with a package pile driver. They meet at Saturday night's main event. Kevin Owens gets screwed with the official being knocked out. Cody Rhodes hits Crossroads with the steel chair. Kevin Owens then proceeds to pick up Cody Rhodes, nail him with a package pile driver. He takes the Winged Eagle Championship, which Cody Rhodes used for one night only. And here we are now with both championships hanging above the ring at the Royal Rumble. Of course, they did do some teases with a package pile driver. It never came to fruition. Um, but at the end of the day, again, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens using, a step ladder, using the base of a ladder rung to beat the hell out of each other with it. I thought was a unique and innovative touch. Just the fact that these guys, brought all over the arena, it was clearly personal. Kevin Owens doing multiple bumps, including a nasty powerbomb to Cody Rhodes, where his neck whiplash. And again, Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, Wade Barrett made incredible points on commentary. Kevin Owens at that point did not care about winning the Undisputed Championship. He cared about brutalizing his best friend in the American Nightmare. And a fisherman buster from Kevin Owens off the top rope through a ladder was a nasty spot that Cody Rhodes did not move for several minutes. I thought when the referee was checking on him that this was not an angle until I saw Nick Aldis come out there. Then I sort of knew it was an angle, but I did not know what was going to happen. And then out came the underdog from the underground, Sami Zayn, who did not really check on Cody Rhodes that much. He was more concerned about his friend Kevin Owens. But at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes would reverse a package pile driver and from Kevin Owens at top of the announce table, and Cody Rhodes would put Kevin Owens through a ladder that was bridged on the announce table to the ring that was introduced by Kevin Owens very early on in the matchup. Cody Rhodes then, with no remorse, climbed the ladder, retrieved both championships, and was declared the undisputed champion. And with blood all over the face of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn looking down at Cody Rhodes, the story here for me is Sami Zayn's concern for his friend Kevin Owens, who I know he's changed his way, but I don't think Kevin and Sami are turning on each other. I do think that this may lead to an eventual Sami Zayn heel turn or even a potential Cody Rhodes heel turn, as Cody Rhodes now showing he has changed since finishing his story at WrestleMania 40. He has changed with that Undisputed Championship now in his possession. He does not care about friends, which maybe will lead to a potential storyline where Randy Orton comes back and we get that feud once Randy Orton and Kevin Owens wraps up. I think it's a very slow played build here. You got Kevin, you got Randy, you got Sammy, you got Cody, um, all intertwined here. And again, we'll see what happens. I'm recording this again on a Sunday morning, so I don't know if Jey Uso has picked yet Gunther for his World Heavyweight Championship match, but I'm assuming he will. And at this point, I think it's very plausible we could get Cody Rhodes, John Cena at WrestleMania 41. Speaking of the Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble, I thought this match really had two parts in it. Obviously, we kicked it off with Rey Mysterio, who entered it in number two in 2006, won the whole thing for Eddie Guerrero in 62 minutes. We know the story. The number two entrant was Penta. And, the luchador who came over from AEW, he's had incredible early success in WWE. It felt like sort of a passing of the torch moment there between Penta and Rey Mysterio. You had Chad Gable, who of course has his luchador problem at number three, which I thought was kind of interesting. I would have loved to see Dominic Mysterio come in at number four. I thought that would have been cool. Or, I thought Rey and Dom would have a chance to square off at number one and number two in the Rumble. Dom ended up entering way later in the Rumble after Rey Mysterio was eliminated. But then you had um Braun Breaker basically coming in at number seven after you had the likes of Santos Escobar and Otis and you know, Carmelo Hayes come in. You had Braun Breaker come in and spear Carmelo Hayes, throw Carmelo Hayes over the top rope. He was the first eliminated from the Rumble, which a lot like Lyra Valkyria in the women's Rumble match was a little bit of a surprise. Then we had Akira Tozawa come down. Um, he, tried to help Otis, but as Carmelo Hayes was making his way to the back, Carmelo Hayes struck Akira Tozawa, which allowed Triple H to put in Speed, the popular YouTuber, for a great bit where Speed entered the ring, eliminated Otis, and then Braun Breaker just flat out destroyed Speed and threw him out of the ring too. Early on, it was a lot of the workhorses, which again, Wade Barrett made great reference to on commentary. Your Rays, your Pentas, your Aces, your Breakers. But this whole match changed, in my opinion, at about number 12 when the Samoan werewolf, the tribal werewolf, Jacob Fatu, entered the Royal Rumble. And then at number 16, when the OTC Roman Reigns made his way to the ring, and him and Jimmy Uso did not really get a lot of interaction in this Rumble. Once Jimmy Uso, got Roman Reigns up, Jacob Fatu ended up tossing Jimmy out of the ring. And then we had an intense stare down between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, where they were throwing bombs. I thought Solo Sikoa or even Amatonga would enter this Royal Rumble to help out Jacob Fatu, but this was a Jacob Fatu tribal werewolf showcase here. Uh, as Roman and him again went back and forth, and then starting at number 23. Do. The explosion went off the roof as John Cena entered the ring. And already in this match were the likes of Drew McIntyre, were the likes of main event. Yeet, Jey Uso throwing bombs at each other. Cena entered the ring. He had an incredible stare down with Roman Reigns. And then CM Punk came out at number 24. Then Seth Rollins came out at number 25, and the Buzzkill, Dominic Mysterio, entered in at number 26. I gotta tell you, the likes of Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Jey Uso, John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, them all in the ring at the same time. You add in Dom at 26, 27 ended up and then you had 28 Damian Priest, you had 29 LA Knight, and you had 30 being Logan Paul to massive boos. And at that point, the final 10 in this match were like a who's who of potential WWE Hall of Famers. Logan Paul, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, uh, Jey Uso, John Cena, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, who were clearing everybody out of the ring at that point. Cena and Punk were working on each other in the corner. The final six after Damian Priest, eliminated Drew McIntyre. You had LA Knight eliminate Damian Priest. LA Knight told Damian Priest the night before on SmackDown there were not going to be any friends in the Rumble after they teamed up against the Bloodline the night before. I thought that was a nice little storyline touch. You had AJ Styles in there as well, who returned, I thought, rather quickly from his Liz Frank injury, back with his own music as well. AJ Styles being, by the way, the only surprise return in this Rumble. You had Joe Hendry from TNA make an appearance, but there was no NXT men's wrestlers in this match. There was only one TNA wrestler appearance in the match, that being Joe Hendry, and one appearance from a returning superstar in the phenomenal AJ Styles. Besides that, everybody in the match was a current WWE wrestler. Now, if you want to say John Cena was a return, sure, I guess. Um, but it just shows to me the incredible loaded roster that WWE has right now. You have the spot where Seth and Roman Reigns are so hell-bent on eliminating each other that CM Punk finds an opportunity, tosses them both over the top rope, and then Logan Paul, sneakily, who was on the outside of the ring after doing his leap, the Kofi Kingston-esque save this year in the Royal Rumble, when he pulled AJ Styles down, eliminated him from the Rumble. Logan Paul also dumped CM Punk from the Rumble, which led us to John Cena, Jey Uso, Logan Paul Final 3. With all of that going on, Seth Rollins lost his mind and took out both CM Punk and Roman Reigns with multiple stomps on the outside. Maybe they get Drew McIntyre involved here. I don't know. It looks like we're going to get Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, at least in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 41. And no disrespect to Jey Uso at all, who eventually, with Cena going for an AA, Jey Uso able to get him over the top rope, reverse it, super kick, Cena's feet land on the floor. Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. Everybody going off the air with Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, Wade Barrett on the announce table, yeeting to main event Jey Uso, which Michael Cole rightfully said is not a moniker anymore. It is no longer a nickname. It is true that main event Jey Uso, which this old bloodline story with Roman Reigns in 2020, remember, started with Paul Heyman calling Jey Uso the main event after that Hell in a Cell match in 2020, the I Quit Hell in a Cell match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. And yet, here we are now. Jey Uso gets one more crack at the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. Now, these two men just wrestled on Saturday night's main event. I get it. To me, it doesn't feel like a WrestleMania 41 main event. To me, I could see Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk triple threat match main eventing WrestleMania 41 night one. I could see Cody Rhodes, John Cena main eventing WrestleMania 41 night two. I could see again if Charlotte Flair picks Rhea Ripley, I could see that being a night one WrestleMania 41 main event. I don't know how at this point Roman Reigns could not be involved in a main event spot at WrestleMania. I don't know what this favor is that they keep teasing that CM Punk obviously got from Paul Heyman for helping Roman Reigns team out at Survivor Series against the Bloodline. I don't know what's going on with Solo Sikoa. I don't know what's going on with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. And this whole storyline is going to play out. And the nice thing about it here is even though the Royal Rumble took place on February 1st, first time ever, by the way, the Rumble took place on a day in February. WrestleMania this year is the latest it's ever been. It's on Saturday, April 19th, Sunday, April 20th. It is Easter Sunday. We now have over 2 months to figure it out. And we thought the road to WrestleMania 40 was incredible, topsy-turvy with The Rock and Cody and Roman and Seth and the press conference and The Rock stealing Cody Rhodes' moment and everything. I have a feeling, I'm going to say this right now, yeet, there is going to be a more topsy-turvy road to WrestleMania 41 than there was for WrestleMania 40. Like that clip from the Brand's World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand's World podcast right here on YouTube.